touch, lost the trust, I had to give you up. But my love is enough, and all the above. You hoping that I change my mind? Request decline, working hard and getting on my grind. I lost time for you, boy, you never sympathize. That was a sign, don't you whine, this is a goodbye. One day you were here and now you're not. Scared to change, but I think you know I will call you up. I have learned my lesson not to waste time on us. Told you I'm a winner, you're a runner-up. Cause I moved on to better things and better days. I've been working on a better me. Stay on my way, in my lane, I'm in a better place. Now you erased out my brain. Too late begging on your knees, baby, you missed out on me. Better things and better days. I've been working on a better me. Stay on my way, in my lane, I'm in a better place. Now you erased out my brain. Too late begging on your knees, baby, you missed out on me. Boy, you better shut it now. You're too loud, spinning lights, trying to spread it round. Fought so proud, I don't know what you were talking about. When I found, I walked out, give me back my crown. This is over now. One day you were here and now you're not. Scared of change, but I think you know I will call you up. I have learned my lesson not to waste time on us. Told you I'm a winner, you're a runner-up. Cause I moved on to better things and better days. I've been working on a better me. Stay on my way, in my lane, I'm in a better place. Now you erased out my brain. Too late begging on your knees, baby, you missed out on me. Better things and better days. I've been working
What's up, ladies? Good evening. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody is having a great Tuesday. This is Myelin, and this is Training Tuesday. So I need to make sure that I'm getting folks in the space, in the room. Like, hey guys, I am here. So we are about to get started. I hope everybody is having a great start to their week. We are in our very last week of quarter one, heading into quarter two. This is week 13. I love week 13. Week 13 is the kind of rest and reflect week between quarters. Technically, when we're, as you are getting into your business, and we're living by quarters in business, right? And so we have our first quarter, which is 12 weeks. And that's from the first week of January, the first Sunday in January, all the way through the last week of March. And then goes. And so even though that's the first quarter, the quarter itself is really 12 weeks. And then there's a 13th week in between. All right. And so this is the 13th week, and this is the time for you to reflect and figure out what you want to do for the next quarter and just kind of relax. And it's one of my favorite weeks as an entrepreneur, right? We have 4 of them every year. We have 4 week 13s every single year. So I love week 13. So that's where we are right now, which is the perfect time for us to start talking about your new business for those in this BTBS group who are looking to start their own businesses, which is almost everybody in the group so far. This is really the time. This is a perfect time to start looking at what you want to do and planning for your next steps. All right. So for those who are just getting to know me, my name is Maya Lynn. I'm the founder of Women-Owned Minority Businesses. It is a business development organization for women entrepreneurs of color. And we focus on helping women create 90-day plans in their business for more productivity, more profitability. And so what we are working on here in the BTBS side is the 90-day plan for your new business, to start your business. All right. And so, I want to make sure, because we have so much going on this week, I don't want to forget the stuff that we have going on. I'll be announcing it throughout the evening. If you are watching this right now, we've got a handful watching it right now. But if you're watching it right now, give me a hello. Let me know where you are. All right. Tell us where you are in the country or wherever you might be. feel free to tag somebody, but definitely want to know where you are. And you can even put, this is the business idea. Tell us what you're thinking about doing. You never know who's going to watch this replay. You never know who's going to say, hey, I can help her out with that. All right, look, I got my grandma glasses on tonight, guys. I love these glasses. These were like $1. So, but tell us, what you want to do, because again, it's really important as you are planning your business to make those connections. And so you might have something that you're working on or you're thinking about working on, and someone can see this and say, hey, I want to do that too. Or, hey, I know so they can help her out with that. So definitely let us know that you are watching. Hey, Ivory in Richmond, Virginia. Gwen, what's going on, sis? And we got Jasmine in Gainesville, Florida. So thank you so much for jumping on with us this evening. And again, my name is Maya Harris, founder of Womb, and I have been exactly where you are right now, getting ready to start a business, kind of scared, a little nervous, not sure what to expect with it, but really excited about the idea of doing something for yourself. And so I have made it my business for the past 10 years to help entrepreneurs, or who I love to call my prepreneurs, get started on the road to entrepreneurship, right? So we are going to be talking about financing your business over the next couple of weeks. That's what this is the series we're going to do over the next couple of weeks, giving you different strategies to use to finance your business, because everyone's not necessarily going out for a bank loan, right? And I want to make sure that you know what the alternatives is. The alternatives are to financing your business. I'm so glad you are here as well, sis. What's going on? Danita, where are you from? Let us know where you're from. All right. And so we want to make sure with all the other pieces that you're planning for, we want to make sure that you have the money together to actually run your business. I'm telling y'all right now, somebody's telling you can start a business for free, you better run, you better get away. It is not free. Stockbridge, Georgia. I love it. What's going on, Stockbridge, Georgia? I have no idea, sis, where Stockbridge, Georgia is. I'm here in Richmond, Virginia. I do know where Atlanta is. All right. So again, if you're watching this live, you're giving us a little quick shout out. But if you're watching this in the replay, make sure you give us a hashtag replay. Let us know that you're here. And everything I'm telling our live folks, I want you to do the same thing. So if you're watching this in the replay, go ahead and put hashtag live and let us know where you're from. Let us know maybe what your business idea, what you want to do, and that somebody else might be watching this and might be able to help you out as well. But I plan on helping you out today. All right. So I started my first business. I'm going to be talking about this in the presentation, but I started my first business when I first moved to Virginia. I'm going to tell you about another business that I started a little bit later, but my very first business when I moved to Virginia, I got into a direct sales company, and it was like mortgages or something. And it was so completely wildly different from anything that I wanted to do. I did not stay with it very long, but I fell in love with the concept of having something that I did not have to punch a clock for, that I did not have to drive to if I didn't want to, that I could actually, build myself and work on myself. And so even though that first try in entrepreneurship wasn't exactly what I wanted, it definitely gave me the bug. And so I'll be telling you about some other businesses that I started at the beginning and how I ended up doing what I'm doing now. God knows that first business, I was 22, I'm 46. So that many years later, how I am where we are now. So again, we're going to be talking about financing your business. We're going to start the first of our series tonight, one of our strategies for financing your business. And before I forget, you got to know, I want to make sure that you know that we are preparing for our Incubator Program, which is going to be launching next week. I'll give you more details before we leave tonight. Our Incubator Program, it's our 90-day plan to get your business started. That's what I specialize in, the 90-day plans, right? So our 90-day plan to get you started in your business. business. You'll get more details before we leave. We'll make sure you have the link and all that good stuff, because the last day to sign up is actually April 1st. So April 1st, which is this Thursday, is the last day to actually participate in that, the April cohort of the Incubator Circle. All right. So I'm going to make sure that you stay tuned for that as well. All right. So the information, look, I absolutely promise you, what I'm going to tell you about tonight, you're going to feel so much better about starting your business, especially this first strategy that we're getting into, because it really opens the door for everyone to start a business. And so I promise before we leave this evening, you're going to be like, I can do this. All right. I absolutely promise. And it's exactly how I started my business. Actually, almost every single business I started with this particular strategy. I've used other ones throughout the years as well, but this is my main one. And you know what? 99% of entrepreneurs use this strategy I'm going to be giving you tonight. So you want to make sure that you are completely tuned into that. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this information. Again, if you're just jumping on, my name is Maya Harris. Thank you for joining this group. I'm really excited. I was trying to decide, should we have a separate group for our prepreneurs? But I really wanted to be able to give y'all information that I'm not necessarily sharing on a regular basis in our other group, in our other Facebook group, because that group is, mostly for entrepreneurs who are already in business. And so we talk about, a lot of different strategies for them to grow their business. But I felt like, we need a space for our prepreneurs so that they can actually get to the place where they have a business that they've started and they're able to actually launch it, so they can come back to the other group to grow it. Makes sense? And so I said, we are going to create this new space for our prepreneurs and make sure that they're getting support with their ideas and their goals. And of course, making sure that they have access to our particular programs that will fast track them into their business. All right. And so Danita said, I'm taking notes. I love it. Danita said she's planning on starting an educational and transitional center for the lost and homeless in Henry County, Georgia. That is absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Nikita, for joining us. And Nadira, I think I said it right, Nadira, also thank you for joining us, sis. All right, definitely good time to take notes and all that good stuff. So we're going to be attacking your excuses over the next 4 weeks. All right, we're going to be attacking your excuses why you have not started your business yet. All right, so the first excuse that we're going to be attacking is going to be, I can't afford to start a business. That's actually what I'm calling this training. This is the brand new name for this training. I've done this training before, but this is the brand new name for it. Maya, I can't afford to start a business, and that's BS. All right, we're going to make sure that you have the strategies you need to be able to have the finances together to get your business started. All right. So you're getting winning strategies. I need you to know that the strategies that I'm sharing with you tonight, not only did I use them, but 99% of entrepreneurs use this particular strategy that we're focusing on tonight to finance their business. So this is not a theory. This is not something that, Maya just made up off the top of her head. This is what we do. This is what we do to get our businesses started, to get you from the idea phase to actually being able to make some money. All right. If you're okay with that and learning that strategy, make sure you put a 1 in the comments so that I know that we're engaged together. Like, yes, Maya, give me that winning strategy. If you want that strategy, make sure you go ahead and put the 1 in the comments for me. All right. So these are some of the excuses that we're going to be talking about over the next few weeks. And we're talking about number 2 today, but these are some of the excuses that we're going to be talking about. Number 1 is what we talked about last week. I have too many ideas and I don't know where to begin. So last week, if you're just joining us this week, go back through our videos, because last week Ira gave me a 1, Melissa gave me a 1. That's what's up. So, and Gwen gave me a 1. Last week, we talked about how to take your idea and make sure that it's a sustainable and profitable idea. So you may have all these different ideas of what you want to do, but you have to make sure that the one idea you go with is the idea that's actually going to be able to make you money and that's going to be able to sustain you. So if you were not here or did not check out that training, it's still available. You just go back to our videos and just look up Training Tuesday. Or if you look up Training Tuesday, the video will pop up. That was our first video that we did. Okay. So number 2 is what we're going to be talking about today. I don't have enough money. And it's another excuse for people to not start their business. You're like, Maya, that's not an excuse. I really don't have enough money. Nope. That is an excuse. Why? Because we find money when we need money, y'all. Look, Black Friday, money comes out of nowhere. I'm just amazed at the number of large screen TVs that are purchased on Black Friday. You find money. If you walked outside right now and your car had 4 flat tires, you would find the money to get it fixed, right? When we have to do something, we figure it out because we've attached a high value to that. So I want you to have that same high value for your goals and your dreams like you have for your emergencies. I want you to look at your goals and your dreams as emergency level needs, all right? So that we can stop making the excuse of, I don't have it. Yes, you do. All right, we're going to talk about how to do that tonight. Number 3, I don't have time. We're going to be talking about I don't have time. Next week, we're going to talk about how to deal with the time issue of starting a business. And I know it's real. We live in a very different society. And with COVID and quarantine and all that good stuff, our schedules are way different than they used to be. But you do have time, right? And we're going to talk about that next week. We're going to talk about the idea of there being too much competition. We're going to talk about how to create that secret sauce so you don't worry about the competition. And we're going to talk about making sure that you have the skills that you need, all right? So we're focused on number 2 today. Maya, I don't have enough money. And all of this is just an excuse to procrastinate and put off the thing that you really want to do. And then when you finally get in doing it and you're like, man, what was I thinking? Why did I wait so long? So we're going to stop that idea right now and say it is time. It is absolutely time for you to get started on this business, all right? Tomorrow you can walk into your job and they can say, thanks, we appreciate everything you've done, but we are no longer in need of your services, all right? You need to put yourself in a position. Doesn't mean we're going to walk away from our jobs tomorrow, but you need to put yourself in a position where you can go to your job. And if they ever say to you, we no longer need your services, you can say, that's okay, because I don't need yours either, because you have already prepared yourself. You've repaired your roof while it's sunny outside. You've prepared yourself so that you have a supplemental income that can grow into your full-time income, all right? You've been wanting to do this for a very long time. You've been dying to do this for a long time, and you absolutely know there's more out there for you. You're motivated. You just need the strategies and the structure to be able to get all that done. Okay. Awesome sauce. I'm going to turn my screen down so I don't see the reflection of my glasses, of the screen in my glasses. Okay. It's giving me like, ugh. All right. So a bit about me again. I'm Maya Lynn. If you ever get a chance to meet me, and I hope we get a chance, we're working on some, hopefully within the next few months before the end of the year, being able to actually get back to doing some face-to-face stuff. But my name is Maya Lynn, Coach Maya. Please don't call me Miss Harris. That is my mother. All right. I'm a business design strategist, which means I help people build and design their businesses using unique strategies that are customer-centric. My particular strategy that I focus on is helping people create their 90-day plan. And that can be at the very beginning, where all of you are right now, or people who are in the middle, or, have been well into their businesses and they're looking for different growth plans. And so that's what I do. But I was a high school English teacher for 20 years, which is actually why I focus on planning, because that's all I know how to do. Like I'm just a planner. Like I lesson plan after lesson plan after. If you do a lesson plan every single day of your life, eventually you can say, you know what? I think I could teach other people how to do this. So a high school English teacher and an instructional coach. So I was a teacher's teacher. And of course, now I am a published author with my first book, What's Your Oil? Unmasking Your Hidden Talents. And I'm also co-author in another book, right? Just so you know who you're getting this information from. So I told you I was going to tell you a little bit about my first solo business. So I told you about my first direct sales company. It was a big bust. It was not a good idea, but it gave me enough motivation to say, I love this whole entrepreneur thing. Let me try to figure out what I need for myself, right? And so my first solo business was super important for me because, one, I'm a single mother. There's my two beautiful babies, as they were very small. They are 24 years old now, but they were very young. I have twin sons, and there's me at the age of 21, had a lot more hair there, a lot more hair. And they were, I'm pregnant with the two of them. And look, I know a lot of y'all are moms, and this is, we're doing a lot of what we're doing because of our kids. We just want to have better for them. And as a single mom, I always wanted to, make sure that my kids just were in want for nothing, right? But I loved being a teacher. I loved walking into the classroom and seeing these crazy kids every single day. Like I said, I taught high school English in all kinds of settings, city. I've taught in the country. I've taught, kids from every ethnic group. And I loved working with my students. But at the end of the day, I was struggling as a teacher, guys. And I had two college degrees. I have my bachelor's, I have my master's, but as an educator, and again, being a single parent, my month and my money didn't always come together. So I was always struggling. Struggling. And so I said, I need to find something to be able to supplement this income. And that's when I really started to look at, having some kind of side hustle. And so, like I said, I started with some direct sales companies. And again, even though they weren't necessarily successful for me, they gave me enough background to say, this is something I want to be able to do. So one day, I had an opportunity. I had an opportunity to go to a prayer breakfast that my assistant pastor at the time had invited me to come out to a women's prayer breakfast. I did not want to go. It was super early on a Saturday morning. I was like, I'm a teacher. This is the only time I get to sleep in a little bit. She's like, you got to come. So I went to this prayer breakfast. And this woman who was the speaker preached from the scripture, which was 2 Kings chapter 4. And the story, if you're not familiar with it, is called The Widow's Oil. And it's a story of a woman whose husband had died. So she was a single mother of two sons, and she was flat broke, and the creditors were chasing her down, and they were actually threatening to take her children away. They could do that back in the day. If you owed bills, they could take your kids. So she was trying to figure out what she was going to do. And she went to the prophet Elijah, and he asked her, well, what do you have in your house? And she said, all I have is this little bottle of oil. I don't have anything else. I've already sold. She sold all of her stuff. The only thing that she had left was this little jar of oil. And so that's where this miracle comes from, where that oil was the actual thing that, God turned into a miracle for her. And that it was the thing that saved her and her sons. And so I was so fascinated by this story. I was like, man, she's a single mom with two sons. I am in the Bible. Like, how did that happen? How did that happen? But what I got from it was, okay, Maya, what's your oil? What's your oil? What is that thing that you have already that I'm not paying attention to, and I remember writing in my notebook, what's my oil? What's my oil? What's my oil? Trying to figure out what that thing, that thing was that was unique, that was really not paying attention to. I was really taking for granted. So fast forward, I had a mentor that needed an editor for her dissertation. Now, of course, Everybody would always come to me to edit their stuff because I was the English teacher. So I was always doing somebody's resumes, $10 for a resume, $20 for a resume, editing their school papers and things like that. And so my one of my mentors, she was finishing up her doctorate, and her editor got sick. And she said, hey, I need a cleanup editor. I need somebody to finish up this. I have this paper I got to turn in. It's 120 plus pages. It's her last project. I really need some help. And I said, sure. It was a no-brainer for me. It was something I did on a regular basis. I edited things every day, all day. I could do it with my eyes closed. And I looked at her project and I said, okay, this won't take me that long. And I figured it would take me about a week to be able to get through everything. And she said, well, how much should I pay you? And it really hadn't even occurred to me to ask her for money. Like, it was, I didn't even think like, oh yeah. Oh, she's going to pay me for this. Okay, cool. Right. It wasn't even on my, it just wasn't even on in my viewpoint. Like I had no thought about it. And so I was thinking maybe a couple $100, quite honestly. But I didn't say that to her. And I said, whatever you think is fair. And the amount she ended up paying me was a third of what I made monthly as a teacher. I said, hold on, you mean to tell me you're going to pay me a third of my salary for something I already know how to do that's only going to take me a couple of hours to do it, and you just gonna pay that? Like how? And so she encouraged me to look up, the fees that editors charge. And I was blown away. And what I realized at that point was that I had some skills. I had skills that were just second nature to me. I was very good at them. And I took them for granted because they were something that I was doing, things that I did all of the time. But those were the skills that would end up ultimately changing my life, right? And I realized I had two important things I had to understand. One, other people needed the things I could do, but didn't want to do it themselves, or didn't know how to do it themselves, or couldn't do it themselves. And those same things I actually enjoyed doing, right? And so I was like, wait a second. You mean to tell me that you're going to pay me for something I love doing? That's a no-brainer. And so I was able to start this first solo business called LLTE Editing, and it was an editing firm. I actually eventually added 2 partners who were also English teachers. I told them what I was doing. They're like, that's amazing. And so, that was something I would, go to work during the day, and I would come home and I would edit for people. I was doing resumes. I was doing books. I was doing, dissertations. And then I started doing business plans. And that's how I actually ended up starting to work with entrepreneurs. I started doing business plans. And I said, okay, what other skills do I have? Well, I'm a teacher, so you know what? Let's add a little something else. And I started a tutoring company called Llama Learning. So these 2 businesses actually were able me to come out of the classroom eventually, and be able to work as an entrepreneur full time. And I did those for about 5 years, and actually a little more than 5 years. And just, was just love the transition, but recognized I wanted to do something outside of education. And so I ended up launching Womb, and that's where we've been for the past almost 2 years now. And so it's allowing me to take what I was doing with LLTE, with the business planning, and actually start working with more entrepreneurs, and specifically working with women of color. All right. And so why do I even do this? Why have I taken the time to initially taking a pay cut and to be able to do these things? And it's because I have some goals that I want to accomplish myself. And I know that as an employee, there was a ceiling, right? There's only but so much I could make as a teacher. I would get the sheet every year, and they would tell us how much money we would be able to make. And so even if I worked for 40 years, I would never get to 6 figures as a teacher ever. Right. I was like, well, if I want to be able to do more for myself and for my family and for my community, I have to be able to make more money. I want to be able to be in control of my time. I want my sons to be able to do more things. I want to be able to give back to my community. And so I know that I had to take that leap of faith and build something for myself. And so you have to decide, why are you doing this? Why do you want to become an entrepreneur? And is it for your family? Is it for the lifestyle? Is it for the freedom? Is it for the choices? Is it for how you can help people? You can't help other people until you've helped yourself. You can do more for your community if you're making 6 and 7 figures, if you're making 8 figures, than you can if you're struggling. That's just the reality of it. Money gives us choices. And so you have to decide, why do you want to do this for yourself, and keep it in front of you? Because once you know why you're doing it, it's going to motivate you and push you through the process. Okay. So it's time. Y'all ready? It is time for you to say yes to yourself, to be able to say, yes, I'm going to put in the work, because it's work. This is not a get rich quick thing here, guys. You all have your own ideas, and it will take time and effort. However, if you stay focused on getting done what you need to get done, you will be able to reap the rewards as well. All right. So I need you to grab a sheet of paper, grab a pen, whatever you're using for your notes, so we can go ahead and start talking about the strategy, the finance strategy for this week. All right. And the strategy, or the program that I teach from, is called the Birth Blueprint. Okay. And it's basically an overview of the fundamentals of business. So you have your zone of genius. I can't teach you how to be a makeup artist. I can't teach you how to, work with cannabis. I've gotten a few of those come in lately. But what I can teach is about the business side of it, right? And so this is an alternative to the traditional business plan. It's a living document that's actually going to grow with your business, that you'll refer to back and forth as you go through these quarters. And you'll learn more about that too as you go through the program. But it's perfect for startups. It's perfect for folks in your position, and for anyone who already has a business, but you want to go back and reassess some things because maybe you had a shaky start. Okay. And so we're in, the Birth Blueprint has 5 parts. Today we're in part 4, which is the treasury, talking all things money. And so we're going to be focusing on something called bootstrapping. All right. And so I want to make sure everybody is with me. You're focused in. If you're watching TV right now, turn off the television, turn your music off for a second, because I really want you to understand this concept and what it's going to do for your launch. All right. So if you're paying attention, I want you to type the word bootstrapping in the chat. I want you to type the word bootstrapping in the chat, so that I know that you know the concept that you're going to be learning, and then how powerful this is when it comes to launching your business. Okay. All right. And so when we're talking about funding your business, we're talking about how you're going to make money in your business. There are different options. There are lots of different options. All right. For example, we have angel investors or venture capitalists. And so those are people who've got money. They got just a storehouse of money, and they are investing in your business. And so you have angel investors and you have venture capitalists, right? You can borrow. Some of you, some folks are asking, how do I go for a grant, or, how can I get a bank loan, or how can I get a loan from the government or whatever. So you can borrow, of course, to grow your business. But we're going to focus on the concept of the bootstrap. And I need you to know, and I said this earlier, 99.9% of businesses bootstrap in some way, shape, or form. So this is not something that, this is impossible, nobody does. No, everybody does this. Everybody does this. And some people do it for their, for the full investment of their business. Okay. So this is something, it absolutely works. All right. It is great for our small business or micro business owners. All right. So you want to make sure that you're taking good notes. All right. All right. So what is it, first of all? So like it implies, you're literally pulling yourself up. So you're pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. You ever heard that phrase? You got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. So you're using your own resources. You're using whatever you already have and what you can create without getting external help. So this is, if you are a 100% bootstrap company, this is without venture capitalists. This is without angel investors. This is without taking a loan. This is actually talking about it without a grant. This is not crowdfunding, because we're going to talk about that too. But this is just you. This is just you and what you're able to provide for your business. Okay. So some major companies, you'll be blown away by this, but some major companies that started out using bootstrapping, it doesn't mean this is their only form, but this is how they started their businesses. Facebook started with bootstrapping. Remember, Zuckerberg was in college or had just dropped out of college, so he had no money, right? He had to get himself together and figure stuff out on his own. IBM started as a bootstrap. Oracle, eBay. Have you ever seen a picture of the guy who started eBay? It's like he's in his garage and the eBay sign's kind of crooked. Coca-Cola, Cisco Systems. And so a lot of companies, even all these giant corporations that you can think of, at some point, they were a small business. They were just somebody with an idea that they wanted to get started. All right. And so a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them started as a bootstrap company, and they used their resources from bootstrapping to even get more funding. So we'll talk about that too. Okay. So Gwen said, I just came across the word a few minutes ago reading Susan Taylor, former Essence editor. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I would be surprised if Essence wasn't bootstrapped. A lot of magazines bootstrap. Yep. All right. So some pros. So we got to talk about the pros of bootstrapping. One, it's affordable. You're focused on efficiency when you bootstrap your business. So you got a lean business model. You're not focused on a whole lot of extravagance. You are focused completely on growing the business, right? You're getting the bare minimum of what you need to get things going in your business. And so, you're not buying like, oh, I'm gonna get this new $3,000 computer. No, not a bootstrapper. A bootstrapper's like, let me go down to the pawn shop and see if I can get me a computer for under $100, right? Because it's your money now you're dealing with, right? And so you have a lean business model because your funds are limited. Baptism by fire. The fact that you don't bring in investors with knowledge also means you have to adapt fast to decision making, which helps you learn how to run the business fast. All right. So you don't have a whole lot of outside input when you are starting things on your own, and you don't have someone coming in and saying, hey, here's $10,000. Let me tell you what you should do. Right now, for someone who is at the beginning of their business, and your business is your baby, and you're very protective of your ideas and how you think things should go. And so one positive, it could be a negative too, but one positive thing is when you're doing it yourself, this is your idea. You can build it the way you want to build it. You're not being dictated by what other people think you should be doing necessarily, because they've given you this money. So you have 100% control over what's going to happen as you grow your business. Okay. You're your own boss. You will remain your own boss because you don't dilute your equity by welcoming wealthy investors. So, you know how we watch Shark Tank, right? We watch Shark Tank. Excuse me. And the contestant comes in and says, hey, sharks, I'm looking for $100,000 with 1% equity in my business. Right. And so they're like, I'm going to give you 1% of my business. And the sharks are like, oh, no, your business is not worth that. Now I'll work with you, and I'll give you the $100,000, but I want 20% of your business. Right. Because you're having to give away some of your profits eventually to this person who invested in you. So when you bootstrap, you don't have any investors. So that means 100% of what comes in is for you. All right. Faster progress. You'll have more motivation to build a brand that lasts long. So we talked about sustainability last week, right? And this is one reason bootstraps are more likely to become a household name, such as Facebook. Look, this is, again, it's 100% your investment. So you're not going to invest in something and put all your hard-earned money into it for it to go down the drain in 6 months. Excuse me, y'all. Ooh, that's gross. And sometimes when you're dealing with other people's money, you might not take it as seriously, right? You might not appreciate the process as much when you have, $10,000 or $20,000 given to you. But when it's your sweat equity, you are going to do what you have to do to make sure that business works. Okay. Full focus. Your attention is on your core business and not on a crowdfunding or other funding efforts. You're able to concentrate on your books and strategies that will make your business grow. So you are, again, focused in on what you have to do to make your business grow, because you do not have the other distractions of trying to get money here, trying to get money there. You know what? Nope. I got what I need. I'm going to start with what I can start with and grow from there. Bootstrapping drawbacks. So those were some of the good things about bootstrapping. But there, of course, with every strategy, there's good and there's a bad, right? So some of the cons of bootstrapping as a startup: poor cash flow, right? You just don't have as much cash to create like you might. So you might have a $10 million idea, but you don't have the $10 million to run with it. And so you don't have as much cash flow to be able to do everything that you want to do when you want to do it. You have to be a lot more focused on starting small and growing big. You have to be okay with starting small and growing big. You have to be okay with starting with one concept or, 2 products, or, again, starting small and growing bigger. A bootstrapper cannot have 6 businesses. You just be broke. Like, it's just not happen. You got to start small and be willing to grow that business into something. All right. It can hinder your growth, of course, when you don't have as much money. You don't have necessarily experience. Now, again, I use Shark Tank as an example. If Damon says, "Hey, I'm going to give you 20% I need 20% equity in your business," I'm like, ugh. But then I get his experience as well. So, having investors, that there is a plus side to having investors as well. So I want to be transparent with you, so you don't think like, oh, bootstrapping is going to be perfect. It is not perfect. It just works. There's definitely a higher risk of loss because it's all your money. And of course, you have more responsibility if you're going to be bootstrapping. All right. But again, 99% of business owners start off with a bootstrap, start off with, trying to use their funds to be able to grow their business. All right. So how are we going to make the most from doing this? Number 1, don't buy it until you can afford it. And affording means paying cash. All right. So you don't need to have like, oh, I got to have this, giant computer, for my business because it's just going to look good. No, not yet. Right? Unless you can hand down cash, the less credit you have to use, you're going to feel so much better, because that's still not your money. When you're buying on credit, it's still not your money, right? So the more cash you can use to get things started in your business, the better. All right. And we'll talk about how to kind of separate those things out. Working from home, work from home as long as you can. Yes, it's great to have an office space. It is really great to have an office space, but you don't need it. Guys, look at where we are right now with COVID, with the quarantine. All of a sudden, all of those super and giant skyscrapers filled with offices, and everybody had to go and work from home. And somehow companies survived, right? So you don't have to have an office. If you can use your home space to work, absolutely start there, and then work your way up to your office space. But you don't, if you can stay at home, stay at home. There are some businesses that do require of you to have space outside of your home, and that's understandable. But again, if you can stay home, work from home, right? Barter for what you need. Hey, I'm a graphic designer. I'll design your logo if you help me set up my QuickBooks, right? Barter for what you need. As you're learning what you need at the beginning, look for people that would be willing. Maybe your you're a makeup artist. Hey, I'll do your makeup for your next big event if you help me design a landing page or something like that, right? So barter for something, and you'll be surprised how, if you're looking in our groups, you're looking in our Facebook groups, there are people who are already in business that can help you in different ways. And you're, instead of spending money, they all need stuff too, right? And so bartering is a great way to get some of the things that you need to start your business by, your currency is actually your talent. Okay. All right. Fail to plan to fail. Y'all know how that goes. You need to have a plan. You have to have a plan. I can't stress that enough. You have to have a plan. You want to have a budget already set up. You know how much money that you're able to use, how much money that you have, how much money you have coming in. It's not going to be perfect. I always tell my 90-day students, it's not perfect. You're not going to follow every little single minutia detail, but you will be able to look at where you're going and make your adjustments as you go. All right. Focus on function and not form. So the 5-year-old computer, the plastic chairs, the broken pencils, whatever, right? As long as you can get the work done, make sure you get the work done. All right. So what you generate from income today may not be and does not have to be your primary business. Work towards it. So let's say you have hey, Maya, and I'm going to use, I don't know where my son is. He's somewhere around here. I'm going to use one of my sons as an example. And he is a chef, and he wants to eventually have his own food cart and things like that. So he's not going to start working on a food cart. Food cart's like $20,000. He started with his pop-up shops, right? And so what you're doing today may be the cash cow that funds something that is a little bit bigger. So that's a part of the planning process, figuring out, okay, what can I start with? I've known people who have started t-shirt companies, right? They're like, I want to be able to design t-shirts. Okay, well, let's talk about designing t-shirts. Let's make one design. Let's, what can we afford to start with? Let's get that one hot t-shirt out, or, makeup artists too. I use makeup artists a lot because I just think that's such a great career. But you might not be ready to have a full studio, so maybe you're mobile at first, right? So whatever you start with today, you can grow from there. Let's figure out what that initial service or product is going to be first, and then work towards the bigger idea. Okay. Stacy says she loves bartering. Stacy knows I love me some bartering. You must talk to customers. I feel that's a cheer. You must talk to customers, right? You have to, ladies. I don't really like sales. You're in sales. If you're an entrepreneur, you're in sales all day long, right? You can't just start a business, and then just expect everybody to come to you. You have to be the biggest cheerleader in your business. I'm gonna teach you how to do that too. PR, any media attention can be good as long as it gets to they get your website correct. That's so funny to me. When YouTube first launched, they kept advertising it as the letter YouTube, and that's not what YouTube was. And so it took a long time for us to be diverted back to what YouTube was. But you want to make sure any type of PR that you can get, any type of buzz that you can get around your business, make sure your website is attached to it. Make sure your landing page is attached to it. When people talk about your business, make sure they know the name of your business. People don't care about your logo, the colors. They want to be able to see what you're selling and how they can get to you. All right. And so you want to make sure you're constantly talking about that, and whatever press you can get behind your business, let's get it. All right. It's all about the cash flow. So $1 million order with net 180 payments doesn't mean anything if you got to pay rent, right? So we need to get money going immediately at the beginning. When I'm working with my students and I talk about being sustainable and profitable from the beginning, we want to get stuff going immediately. How can I immediately get money coming into my business? I don't want to wait 4 months for my business to kick in, for cash flow to kick in. How can I start making money on day one? Perfect is the enemy of beta. It does not have to be, I love a beta launch. Like, okay, we're going to try this. I'm going to charge you a little bit less than I normally would. So we're trying stuff out, but we're getting it out there and I'll fix it on the way. I do that with courses. I'll create a course and say, I'm going to charge, my first group will pay this, but then it gets better. So my second group has to pay a little bit more. It gets better. My third group has to pay a little bit more because they're learning more. They're getting better as we go. Right. And so you don't have to be perfect at the beginning. You just have to get going. All right. God invented e-commerce so that you could sell direct and reap greater margins. You are able to create the income that you want to create. So when we are using this concept of bootstrapping, you are simply going to decide how to start small in your business and work your way towards making more money. You're going to look at, what do I have in my set? What money do I already have? All right. That's some of the questions I want you to ask yourself. In fact, I'm going to pause this for a second because I want to be able to put this on the screen. Let me go back to stream right here because I want to pause this. I'm going to put some of these questions for you on the screen. All right. So a couple of questions I want you to ask yourself. All right. Let me close this up. I'm not in calendar mode. So the first question I want you to ask yourself is, what money do I already have? If you have money in savings, what money do I already have? What money do you already have ready to go that you're able to use? And some folks are like, Maya, I don't have any money right now. And that's okay, but we need to know what money you're able to work with. So what money do you already have? Do you have a little bit of money put away in savings? If you do, perfect. Is there any money that you can access? Maybe you have a 401k that you're able to access. Maybe you have some investments that you're able to access. Even if it's just a couple of $100, if you have a couple of $100 you can get yourself started with, you'd be surprised how much you can make those dollars stretch. Do you have anything that's do you have some old, what are those banknotes that you could, the CDs or whatever, right? What can you cash in? So you want to look at the cash that you have available right now that you're able to use. Okay. And then you have to look at, as someone who's bootstrapping, if you're working full time and you have regular money coming in, what can you add to what you already have? So let's say that you have, I don't know, you bring home $2,000 a month. Let's say you bring home $2,000 a month, which which is $24,000 a year, which is not a lot, right? And you're like, Maya, I'm already tight. It's already a stretch. So how can I take what I'm doing already to, I gotta make sure I spell this right. So how can I take what I'm already doing and add to my business, right? What can you stretch out? And again, I want you to think of your business as your emergency situation, right? If something happened to your car right now, what would you be able to pull and use for your car? Like, oh man, I gotta get a new tire. Tire $75. Ugh, all right, I guess I gotta get it. If you can find $75 for your tire, you can find $75 for your business. Grab it and pull it to the side. If you could take a percentage of your paycheck, if you know, okay, for the next 90 days, I'm going to be working with Maya. For the next 90 days, I'm going to be working on this program. I'm going to take 10% of what I'm making. Maybe that's my movie money. Maybe I'm going to give up Starbucks for, and maybe I'm just going to get some, store brand coffee for the next 3 months. What are you going to be able to get that, that you have already that's coming in that you normally don't earmark for that? What can you start to earmark away? I can take 10% of what I'm making and put it in and put it away for this business. I can take 5%, whatever you're able to do. And again, this isn't like we're going to talk about as weeks come. This is not the only thing that you can do to start to fund your business. But if I am, even let's say we're doing we'll talk about crowdfunding next week. But if I'm going to donate to someone, right? They're starting a business. I'm going to donate to them. I want to know that they're making an investment as well. Honestly, I want to know that they're making an investment as well. And so if you want to raise $100,000 and you've not added anything to that $100,000, then why would I give of what I have? So what do you already have that you can use, and what can you add to that storehouse of what you're building? All right. So what else can you add? All right. And the third thing that I want you to focus on is whatever is going to be that first product or service, whatever is going to be that very first thing that you put out, because that is the thing that you're going to start advertising immediately. Well, and when we talk about it in the Incubator Program, what is this thing that we're going to launch with first, day one? What's that first service that is very low overhead, or what's that first product that's very low overhead that I can immediately start advertising, that I can start bringing in money on day one? If I'm a chef, I may not be able to do a full catering event yet, but I make a mean cupcake. All right. So maybe my first product is going to be cupcakes, right? Because I know I can get the money, I can put it out there, people will order them, and then I pay for them, right? People order it and I pay for it. Maybe I'm in retail. Maybe I have, look at this, guys. This is actually one of my former businesses. But y'all see this ring? This is Saucy. This is my girl, Saucy. So Saucy was when I first made Saucy as a hobby, they're like, oh, girl, well, I need that ring, Maya. I need that ring. I need that ring. And I knew when we launched, I had a jewelry business with a friend, but then I went solo on it. And because I loved rings. I literally had a business for a little while called ring porn. But I knew for ring, when I wanted to launch ring porn, this was going to be the first ring. I didn't even have the cash to be able to really run with the business like I wanted to. I didn't even have the cash for the wire, right? But I knew the moment I said, hey guys, I am doing some Saucy rings for folks. It's going to be $20, right? Send me your ring size. I'll make you a Saucy ring. The orders were coming in, and one ring could pay for a month's worth of supplies. Super easy, right? And so if I'm like, okay, this was my one thing. If I can sell, this is $20. If I can sell 25 of these in my first 30 days, that's going to do you understand what I'm saying? And so what you have to decide when you're going through the planning process, what is it that you're going to start with that will immediately help you to bring in additional income? Because if you have money in your savings, let's say you only have a couple $100. Let's say you had $200 or $300 in your savings, right? And you could take you're going to take 5%. I'm giving you bare minimum right now. You're going to take 5% of your monthly income. So maybe it's only a couple $100 also, right? So now you're like, okay, Maya, I have about $500 to $1,000 I can start my business with. Fabulous. Let's run with it. What's going to be our very first product? Let's sell that first. How much of that do we need to sell in our first 30 days that will be able to fund us for the next 6 months? That's how you have to think when you're starting to bootstrap. All right. That's why I love bootstrap, because it really forces you to get creative. It really forces you to, you are a skeleton operation. You're a power of one, but you're really able to get focused on the fundamentals of your business and then watch it grow from there. And it's going to be so powerful. I absolutely love when people get excited about bootstrapping. All right, let me get back to let's get back to the PowerPoint real quick so we can finish up. All right, so let me go here, right here. Perfect. So that's just the beginning. And that's just one form of financing that you can do. Like I said, we're going to talk about crowdfunding next week. Okay, so make sure you tune in next week as well. Because if you're able to raise, let's say you're able to come up with $1,000 for your business, but then you're able to crowdfund some as well, you're going to really have a good storehouse. And most service-based businesses can get started very easily and have a strong launch with $1,000 to $2,000 or even less. I've known folks to be able to start their business for $500, right? If you're a product-based business, you're definitely looking at $1,000 to $2,000 because you have to get your products, you have to get your supplies and things like that. So service-based is always cheaper to start with. I want you to keep that in mind too, right? So the blueprint actually has 5 parts. So that was one part from Treasury. Just one little part from Treasury. But we go over your foundation, your customers, your idea, your products, your services, your mission statement, your why, your vision statement, all of the resources that you know. So you'll know exactly how much money you'll need. It's great to start putting that money to the side, but you also want to know how much money you'll need so you can plan on what that first product or service is that you're going to launch, okay? Again, we talk about all things Treasury. And of course, then we create that 90-day plan to get everything launched. Okay. So why bother going through this process, guys? It helps you get focused, really helps you get focused. It helps you set your priorities. You start to develop that accountability. You got to be able to set your expectations and track your results. And of course, manage your cash. You got to be able to manage your cash so that you know what your money's going out and the money that's coming in so that you can grow your business. All right. So you can do this on your own. You know, you're always going to get some resources here in the BTBS group. You definitely can do this on your own. But if you type in business planning on Google, you're going to get 1.5 billion results, 1.5 billion results. All right. So you can do that, or you can just work with a program that is specifically geared towards your success. And we have the Womb Incubator. You've heard me talk about it before. You heard me talk about it at the beginning of our conversation today. We are about to launch our April group. All right. So maybe you're going to be our next success story going through our next 90 days. Paula is an example of one of our success stories. Paula said it was a challenge to think of the business from so many different angles, but the workbook was helpful in guiding me from one stage to the other. The teamwork, the accountability was the secret sauce for her. Because of it, you feel encouraged to push a little harder and imagine greater. So the incubator course, like I said, is a 90-day. It's a self-paced, so you don't have to go to class at a certain period of time. You know, you have a chance to be able to work your way through the program. And then we have Q&As every week to help you, just guide you along the way. All right. But everything's foundational. You're still working your job. You don't have to, walk away from your job to go through the program. You're able to do this in your spare time and get ready to launch this business that's going to be able to, help you reach those goals you want to reach. Melissa said the course is definitely needed for anyone seriously considering starting a business or anyone just starting out. I was able to be more intentional in my approach to figuring out where to focus my energies and talents and whom I would serve. I think having the support of the coaches and my legacy sisters will further assist in my growth. I would definitely recommend this course. So you want to take the course, one, because the plan that we help you create is very simple. It is not the 40, 50, 60 page business plan that a lot of folks think they have to create. And so they shy away from business planning because they think they have to make this huge document. 2, you're able to get your questions answered without having to go doing a whole lot of research of your own. You definitely get the emotional support that you need. This is a stressful process. It really can be a stressful process. So you get that support that you need and the extra push from those of us who just want to see you succeed. And most importantly, you are creating that additional income stream that's going to fit your financial needs and help you reach your personal goals. Okay. And so Andrea said, I feel this program was the most helpful course I've ever taken for starting a business. She has a virtual assistant business. So what's everything included and what's the investment? It's a 12-week, 90-day video self-paced course. You get your planning journal for continued preparation. We help you with website design. You get a complimentary call with me at the end of the program to help you through your next steps. And of course, you get that Q&A and work sessions to get your questions answered and get that one on, that immediate support as you are working. It is over $1,000 worth of value, and it's $97. That's it, $97 a month for 3 months. All right. Denise said this course taught me what to do and what not to do, which is huge. I'm honored to have been accepted in the program. Denise has her own entertainment coming down in Florida. We also provide a training called Exposure and Visibility, because once you launch your business, we want people to know that you're there. So we teach you the strategies to make sure all your family and friends and your network, more importantly, knows that you're in business and that you are ready to go. So you don't have to do anything. You can hang out with us in BTBS. You can definitely take what we started talking about today and start working on things on your own. Or you can just launch with us. Get the support you need from Womb. We'd love to have you. Again, BTBS is just a place for you to come and get some great resources. But the real work comes from being a part of the Incubator Program. All right. Our next session starts next week. It's actually the 4th, I think, whatever next Sunday is. That's when we start. All right. So if you're going to sign up for our April group, you have to sign up by the 1st. You got to sign up by Thursday. All right. You got to sign up by Thursday. And I think a couple of my leaders are in there. Ivory's in there. Right now, she gives you the link. It's wombbiz.org/incubator. So Ivory went ahead and put that in the chat. Ivory is actually one of our admins for this group, but she is a recent graduate from the Womb Incubator. If you have any questions about the incubator, she will definitely tell you. She's one of our superstars, and she loved it so much that she decided to come back and support other women to do it. She's a photographer in the Richmond, Virginia area, but she absolutely is plugged into what we created here in Womb, and she is literally volunteering her time to come back and help other women go through the process, because it was such an impactful process for her. So she has provided the link in there for you. Okay. So make sure you grab that link. And I want to hear your bartering. Look, I just read what Stacy put. I want to hear your bootstrapping ideas. And so you're going to, if you have not already registered, when we're done here, I'm going to be sending you a form that has all of the, so support on your bootstrapping ideas. And of course, one of our famous badges so that you can post and say, hey, I finished bootstrapping. I'm ready for the next training. All right. And so again, the link is in the chat. All right. I am super excited to be able to welcome. We already have some folks lined up for our April group, and so I'm looking forward to our next set of students coming through. And what I'm going to do at this point, if you have any questions, I want you to go ahead and put your questions in the chat. So Ivory put 2 links in here for you. This is the link to sign up for the program. All right. If you're in the chat and you're looking for the link, and this is actually the link to make sure you got the homework, the registration. And that's also on our event page. Okay. To make sure you can get the bartering bartering. Stacey, now I'm saying bartering. So you can get the bootstrapping homework. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I will answer some of your questions right here before we end for the evening. And I know there's a delay, so I'm trying to make sure that if you're on Facebook, there's a delay from StreamYard to Facebook. But we're excited to have our next group coming through. We have graduated now in the past year. Oh my goodness. Now I have to kind of think back at our numbers. We have graduated over 20 business owners through our incubator program. So 20 new businesses in the community. It's actually I think it's more than that. I think we might be at 25 now. I don't know. I lose count. I need to go back and look. I sent my pic for my bed. Oh no, Gwen, that's a little different. It's not a the badge that you get. It's not a badge that we superimpose your picture into. That's not what that is. The badges they're kind of like, putting up a gold star for yourself. Like you did good on your homework. Here's a gold star. It's just a way to show that you completed the assignment. So, but we do not superimpose faces into the badges. That is actually for members in our organization. But for our trainings, or girl, we just will not have time to put everybody's faces into badges every single week. But we do give badges to our members. Okay. Gwen said, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm sorry to disappoint you on that one, but make sure you post the badge, right? Make sure you post the badge that you got. Let's see. No questions? Okay, awesome. So again, I'm excited. We have the link there, and you'll also get a reminder in your email about the Incubator Program if you want to be a part of our next class of prepreneurs who are going to be launching their businesses in the next 90 days. Super excited. That literally means you'll be in business for yourself before the summer, which is awesome. We're just going to take the spring, knock it out, and make sure that you are launching a sustainable and profitable business in the next 90 days. So I'm looking forward to our next group of students. And if you have any questions, you absolutely can ask questions in the BTBS group. All right. Just feel free to ask questions in the BTBS group. But in the meantime, the job form is to register. So anytime that we do a training, I provide a link for registering so that you can get the homework sheet. I don't just post it in the group. You got to register for the homework sheet so you can actually get go through the process of whatever the training was for that day. That's what the job form is for. Okay. That's also always provided in the event link before we get started. I think it's actually in the StreamYard link at the top. All right. In the title. Okay. Awesome. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. In the meantime, be blessed, be a blessing. We are here to change the narrative and plan to prosper. I look forward to working with each and every one of you in the future. And y'all have a great night. All right. Good night, everybody.